Yeah.
It's still a nice lead. It's very
All right. Whoa, there's a booming voice. So how we doing out there, folks? My name's Reverend Michael McMorrow. I am the spiritual director for the Center for Spiritual Living here in Granada Hills, where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And I'm wearing this bag today because my wife gave me a haircut yesterday via YouTube. She's never given a haircut before. And so I just thought I would give you all an enticement to join us today. So here we go. Can I get a drum roll, please? Here we go. Here it goes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Ta-da.
That looks great.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She did a great job.
I thought she did a good job. She did well.
First time ever. You can learn how to do anything on YouTube, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, all right, so let's welcome our assistant minister to the platform, Reverend Nancy Woods. Yes, and welcome all of you as well who've decided to join us. So you're most welcome if you're joining us for the first time, or whether you're a long-time member, welcome and happy Sunday. So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath and release and allow ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life. Excuse me. Which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. That fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as we light the first candle, as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it is for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives and the space we hold for them here in the sanctuary, with you online, and within our own hearts. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, remembering all who may be suffering at this time, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in us. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith.
We light this flame
find this light within our own souls. There is one flame, one light within.
So as we step into a conscious recognition of this flame within, and know that it is that divine presence that brings life forth in all of us. As each one of us accepts and knows that that divine presence is that which we have come from and we are in expression. We open our hearts and our minds this morning to embrace an expanded understanding and awareness of its presence in our life, as our life, and for our life. And know that we are open our hearts to allow each song, each word, each aspect of this service to nurture us and embrace us even greater into this awareness. It is with the understanding that the infinite intelligence, the divine presence of life, is forever awaiting our willingness to let it come forth as expression. And we do so this morning, knowing that it is the hearing that we have, the expression that we have, and the air that we breathe. So we can rejoice and know that the harmony, the beauty, and the greatness of life is in our essence of being in all ways. So with love and appreciation for this universal law of being, that we say thank you. Thank you. And together we acknowledge the response of the word placed in it by saying together, and so it is. When I was listening to that one flame, that song, I was just thinking about how meaningful and how powerful that idea is. Because this week, the thought that has coming up, and I should say the thought that around which I have been reading and thinking about what to share, is that in this practice that we are experiencing of staying within ourselves, or that we have experienced up until now, we are given an opportunity, so we are I feel like I'm taking advantage of it to some extent, to increase my practice of reaching for that understanding and awareness that comes from within. And I have been reading this book, of the autobiography of a yogi. And I realized that all our lives we have been given opportunities to reach for the spirit within. And as we do this and we understand this, we realize that the spirit of life has always been right there for us when we allow ourselves to relax and let it flow forth. But today, I want to talk about this, being conscious of doing this, because it has guided us into a lot of good experiences in our life, whether it's how to sing a song or to speak a word of truth. But if we consciously move into the awareness that the Spirit is always there for us. I have found that I've been doing little things and stating to myself, all right, the spiritual life is coming forth. And sometimes it's like the experience is, I haven't quite got the words for it, but I wanted to say it the best that I can right now. The spirit of life comes forth as an energy that I don't attribute to this physical world in a lot of ways. It's an energy from within where you just find yourself flowing into the experience, and you find yourself reaching for things with such ease and grace. And you realize that everything that you're doing is being done through you. And I know that this awareness has probably been everybody's experience at one time or another. Whatever you're doing, that seems to become with ease and grace. And those are the moments that Spirit is present. And one of the things I understood from reading this book is that this happened to this young man when he was a young man. It happened to him over and over, but it was only later that he really grasped that it was Spirit's presence. That power that is within us is really available to us. And I invite you to join me in this experiment, even if it's just praying for somebody else or creating some activity within your home. Just know that the spiritual presence is there. We just take the first step for it to unfold, knowing that it is there. And thank you for letting me share that.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I said it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I said it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I said it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I see the ice is clearly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I said sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun. I said, it's alright. It's alright.
And we do have a sunshine now? Thank you, Ken. It's beautiful.
You're welcome.
So I want to invite you to say the Declaration of Principles with us. We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal too and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life, in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the giveness of life to all.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be.
That was beautiful. Let's give him a hand at home. Yes. Yeah, so I've donned the unknown minister once again because on Facebook, where I invited you all to join me, I forgot to put the video on when we started the service. So here's the big reveal. Are you ready for this, Kim, in Arizona, who's watching? Here we go. Ta-da. There you go. Didn't she do a great job? I can't believe that she's never cut hair before. Doesn't it? Yeah. I feel so confident now. Yeah, these guys are getting sick of the hair jokes around here, so I thought I'd just cut it off and save them the pain for another Sunday. So our music today is provided by our music director, Mr. Ken Francis. That's who the singer was, and that great piano and background vocals was from Jason Goldstein. And you can find both of them online. Yeah, almost. Jason for sure. You can find him, I think he's got his own site, but you can certainly find him on Facebook. And Ken's got a website coming, and you'll be able to purchase his music, which we're looking forward to that. All right, so so welcome once again. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. I am the spiritual director, believe it or not, here at our Center for Spiritual Living here in Granada Hills. And this being the first Sunday in May, we are changing our theme. Our monthly theme for this month is Listen to the Heart. And so our talk title today is The Seat of the Soul. The Seat of the Soul. So within this theme for May, this month starts with a regrounding and a coming back into alignment with our soul. Recognizing an inner power and presence that is our true nature and inseparable from the divine. So it sounds like Reverend Nancy's got a head start on all of us. So, and I know you weren't online looking stuff up, because you'd have to know her to know that would be an amazing day indeed. But what this means is that she's in tune with what we're doing here, of course. Now, so we're recognizing that an inner power and presence that is our true nature and inseparable from the divine, which implies a couple of things, right? This monthly theme is implying a couple of things. That first of all, we have a soul, and secondly, that we know how to connect with it. It also implies that our soul in some way is an individualized spiritual expression of something much larger than we are, which is the classic definition of things that are divine. Now, to me, these are a couple of big ideas. Right? And what it is, the nuanced idea within there is that what is going on in the outer world of affairs may point us in the right direction, right? May point us to go inside and to see and to explore and to be not only psychologically curious, but to be spiritually curious about what's going on out in the outer world and what does it mean for my own interior life and my own interior spiritual life. And do the two line up? So, in this way, this is what it means, I think, to be a spiritual seeker. And I found this image that I thought nicely illustrates that. So today is also May 3rd, which makes it, which is interesting also, that it's the third Sunday after Easter. So I wanted to stay with this theme just a little bit longer, Easter being the holiday where Christians around the world celebrate the idea of God as man through the person of Jesus. And the story, of course, is Jesus is killed by man only to conquer death and then to rise from the dead on the third day. And, I hear people all the time say, there's nothing mystical about Christianity. But I got to tell you, that whole proposition is pretty mystical to me. So when the Jewish mystic Jesus arrived, the Mediterranean world was in the grips of the imperial power of Rome. An imperial power, an empire that was to last some 1,000 years, and this is right in the middle of it. And that Judea was a vassal state of the empire subjected to the imperial rule of Rome. And then along comes this itinerant teacher of humble origins, speaking messages of peace and love anchored in the basic tenet of love God above all things and to love your neighbor as yourself. It was also a time when people had a lot of deep fear around death, for death was everywhere around them, everywhere you looked. Suffering, everywhere you looked. If not by just the challenges of disease, of pestilence, or just even by the daily struggle to secure your daily bread. So this was daily life then. And one could say that human life really did not change much for 1800, 1900 years. And yet the teachings of this man Jesus showed that by focusing our attention on knowing our oneness with the Father, of demonstrating of what that idea and that knowing looked like through daily living, then we could experience the kingdom on earth. We could experience God's imperial rule on earth as it is in heaven. But how to prove that? How to prove it? So there were countless lessons of faith within the 3-year ministry of this teacher, countless lessons of faith, and we only know those which have been recorded. So I've always pondered, there must have been thousands of so-called miracles that were performed, and we only have the stories of a handful. And all of those lessons had within them a code, a way of being in the world and not of it, a way of being living seated in the soul rather than separated from it. A way of knowing our oneness of the divine and stepping confidently from that key tenet of faith, knowing that it is done unto us as we believe, that these are very powerful teachings, and that these two key tenets of love God above all things, know our oneness with the divine, love our neighbor with ourself, that is the thread that weaves through all of this story. So from the perspective of that day, with all of the fear of death and the uncertainty of what comes next, Jesus the man had to be put to death then, how to prove it, right? So he had to be put to death publicly. And then ironically, only to rise again on the third day privately to a few chosen friends who then made testimony to this truth. Now, I'm not going to argue one way or another about this particular event. For I'm one of those who believes that the teachings of Jesus are relevant whether there was an actual resurrection of the physical body or whether it was a spiritualization and a metaphysical resurrection of consciousness on another plane of being that made itself known to true believers in the day. What is most powerful, most interesting, and keeps me curious in the teachings of Jesus is in how we live and not in how we die. Or even in some promise of a heavenly ever after. Because that's not what I'm here after. Right? I'm not here after a heavenly ever after. I am curious and longing to prove to myself and by extension those around me and to others that the living Spirit is alive and well in the world today, is alive and well within me and is alive and well within you as well, and through all of life. And since this is the narrative that I'm most familiar with, this is my starting point. That's how I see it. So that's my starting point. What's yours? What's your starting point? And then how to prove that. So this man Jesus was willing to go to the cross to prove it, right? Now, do we have to do that? I don't think so, right? Because all of the spiritual avatars have done the work for us and actually mapped out pretty good pathways in which to follow our way up the mountain, the many paths up the mountain to the one Spirit. So now how do I prove that the teachings of Jesus are a successful strategy for both living and then possible enlightenment? How to prove that? Well, I found this quote. Many of you are probably familiar with it. I've heard it put in different ways from Teresa of Avila, Christ has no body now. Right? So this idea of a risen Christ and so forth. So there is no body now. No hands, no feet on earth, but yours and but mine. Yours are the eyes from which the Spirit sees compassion in this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands through which he blesses all the world. That yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes. You are the body. That the Christ has no body now on earth, but yours. Now, this is an interesting idea, right? Because what it means then is that this Jesus story that those of us in the West know fairly well means that this is the great challenge and the great possibility for us to experience the peace, the love, the beauty, the power of the living Spirit as our life. And in this way, we create an existence that is heavenly. Not somewhere up in the clouds, but right here where we sit. That in this way, then, heaven and hell become states of consciousness rather than places. So Christ then as principle, right? So Christ is a Greek word that means anointed, right? The Christ as principle, Christ as truth. Christ is the anointed one, and we are all called to be this and to express the universal truth within the teachings for you and for me. Ours are the hands, the feet, and the eyes of the divine. Now, in the Hindu tradition, they have another way of expressing that in the word namaste, to see the divine in you. The divine in me honors the divine in you, as I understand the translation. So knowing this, what's stopping us? What's stopping us really from demonstrating the most fantastic life, all of us? Not only a fantastic life for us as individuals, but those of us together. Now we have, I don't know, this is what I've been doing with my time, buttoned up in the house. I've been pondering and reading and exposing myself to stuff that I don't know much about. Trying to broaden my idea of what it is to live a life allowing the Spirit to express itself through my life, and how to invite others to do that with me. And in a way, we're all in this same boat, because what I'm seeing all over social media and in blog posts and even in the various papers that I read online is people are asking much more interesting questions. People are becoming much more spiritually curious. People are looking for ways and strategies to not just assure that they're going to get some thing in the hereafter, but to understand that there's a power and a presence that can help supply their good right here and right now. That what they're really hereafter is a longing for connection with the divine that transcends whatever suffering we may be experiencing on this earth plane, and then to bring that peace, harmony, beauty, truth, light, and love, most assuredly love, into this earth plane and into specifically our expression of it. So what stops us from that? Right? Well, I don't know what's stopping you. All I can do is speak to my own experience. Right? And the one that I'm constantly working on is my own judgments, my judgments about the world, about you, about them, about the other, and then ultimately my own self-recriminations. Because if I'm not critical with myself, if I'm at peace with myself, then I'm more likely to be more at peace with you. Because that peace within is connected to that place within us that is eternal and can never die. So this is our Arjuna Krishna moment, where we are in the chariot having this conversation within ourselves. Our own judgments and self-recriminations, any feelings of unworthiness, possibly some idea that this work of proving that the living intelligence and infinite heart of the divine is expressing in, through, and as our life, and we are here to prove it and to demonstrate it, that work is for someone else. Proving it is for someone else. It's the work of holy people, of saints and sages of old. And perhaps you feel, as I often do, that you're more ain't than saint. But this is just a silly cloud of unknowing that blocks the sunlight from the Spirit, which is longing to make itself known through each one of us at all times, and especially at times like this. That this cloud of unknowing is what keeps us playing small. So Ernest Holmes said that to understand our unity with God is the beginning of wisdom. To realize that we can express our divinity today and should be the start of a conscious practice that will gradually conduct us to a greater and greater experience of life. So taking things back to this, what I'm calling today, this Easter construct, I've been talking about, to me, it needs to be expanded a bit beyond this story if we're really going to step into infinite possibilities for good, which are our divine birthright. First of all, we're going to have to crucify any and all those old ideas that no longer serve us, which means we're going to have to identify them. And you know how you do that? What's got me up on the cross, feeling like I'm being victimized? That's a good place to start. So we need to release that and to understand that there is no value in suffering, none, except to get our attention. And now, if it's got your attention, welcome, good. We may even have to sit in the silence for a bit, just to get our bearings, right? So the first day, the second day. And then if we are conscious in this exercise, connected on a soul level to the divine within ourselves, we may find that we can now break out from the tomb of our old thinking and emerge as a transfigured consciousness, a new way of being and seeing. We are one with the Father when we are anchored in the seat of the soul, which is a reflection of the divine, individualized. We find we are connected with that within us. When we find we are connected to that which is within us, that we are intuitively guided to the path of right thinking, of right choices, of radiant health, that way of being where all of our needs are met. We say to ourselves that I have enough, for I am enough. And as the Irish expression goes, enough is as good as a feast. So we may emerge then in this contemplation with an understanding that there is a universal power manifesting itself as life that begs for language that explains not only that God works, but a language for how it works, and how it works specifically for you and for me. Now, the philosopher Thomas Troward called this power and presence the universal originating spirit. Now, we've been kind of wading in the shallow end for a little bit, right? Are you ready to go for a deeper dive? Thomas Troward is the deeper dive. And he observed this, that the whole problem of life consists in finding the true relation of the individual to the universal originating spirit. right, to God. And the first step towards ascertaining this is to realize that the universal spirit must be in itself. That we have already done this to some extent, and the conclusions we arrive at are this: that the essence of the spirit is life, love, and beauty, that its motive or primary moving impulse is to express the life, love, and beauty which it feels itself to be. So what he's describing is a consciousness of the living spirit that's not bound by really anything except the nature of its own being, which is what? Infinite. That the universal cannot act on the plane of the particular, which is you and me in this earth plane, except by becoming that, except by becoming the particular, that is by expression through the individual. Now, how does it do that? Right? Well, there's only one way that it can, and that's in the metaphysical plane. And that by becoming the thing that it thinks about, it demonstrates on this earth plane and I believe on many dimensions of life that we're not even aware of, because it's infinite. So whatever, I just get a whiff of it. So the only thing that really knows itself in this way is the spirit itself. That a human life is on this continuous upward spiral of curiosity and discovery and integration, and then curiosity and discovery and integration. And isn't this so? Right? So we see this kind of demonstrating in the outer world as evolution, but there's also a spiritual evolution going on within all of us. Not within the divine, because the divine is itself, but in our awareness of it. So it is the power of the human soul to differentiate limitlessly from the infinite that which we are predisposed to overlook. But as we come to realize that the soul itself is a reflection and an image of the infinite spirit, and a clear recognition of the cosmic creative process shows that it cannot be anything else, we find that it must possess this power, that the soul must possess this power, and that in fact it is our possession of this power which is the whole raison d'être. My awful French. Which is the whole purpose of the creative process. Because if the human soul did not possess an unlimited power of differentiation from the infinite, then the infinite would not be reflected in it. And consequently, the infinite spirit would find no outlet for its conscious recognition of itself as life, as love and beauty, which it is. So this is some pretty esoteric stuff, to be sure. But basically it's saying if we are looking for the Spirit, we need look no further than the demonstration of our own lives. That we need look no further than within the secret chamber of our own heart, that place where we fear to enter, that this is where our power lies. To know, to really know, that as we are one with the Spirit and speak our word with authority, that there is a cosmic resonance that affects change for good in our life every time we direct our thought our way, and unfortunately sometimes when we're not doing that in a conscious way. But today we choose to step into consciousness. Today we choose to step into life, into love, into power, recognizing and knowing that the living Spirit is upon us. That we are now ready to co-create a greater yet to be, that which we have been contemplating now these last few months. And we step into it confidently, knowing that it's already done. And so it is.
I am sailing home again across the sea. I am sailing stormy waters to be near you and to be free. I am flying, like a bird across the sky. I am flying, passing high clouds to be with you and to be free. Can you hear me? Can you hear me through the dark night, far away? I am dying, forever trying to be with you. Oh, who can say? Can you hear me through the dark night, far away? I'm dying, forever trying to be with you. Oh, who can say? Oh, we are sailing, we are sailing home again across the sea. We are sailing stormy waters to be with you and to be free. Oh Lord, to be near you and to be free. Oh Lord, to be near you and to be free.
Again, that was Ken Francis, everyone. Let's give him a big at home. And nice job in the background there, Jason. Yes, it was lovely. You guys make a great team. All right, so it is time for our offering, so I'm just going to go through. Mike, can you get in on me here? I just want to, if you're on the YouTube channel right now, you're seeing something that looks like this. Are they? No, that's our website. Yeah, focus here. So if you go on if you're on our YouTube channel, there are these over here on the right-hand side of your screen. There are these icons. This last one is PayPal, and you can go into PayPal right from your YouTube channel. You don't have to go anywhere, or so I'm told. I've never done that because I haven't been where you're at. So then we can go. So that's how you do it on. Access the portal on YouTube. This is how you access it on the website, cslgh.org. I know Lizette was asking me earlier how to do that. This is it. Here's where the donate button is, and when you do that, it takes you to the portal. Right? So the PayPal is a portal from which we pay. And then you can press this button down here, donate with a debit or credit card if you're doing a one-time donation. If you want to set up recurring donation, then you would need to have a PayPal account. But you would know that if you had one. So your phone, this is what it looks like. You scroll down 3 or 4 times, maybe 6 times, you'll come to the donate. You press the donate, and you'll still come to the same portal. Okay? So then the easiest way, or you can continue, as many have, and I have the donations from the week are in the offering basket right now, and also through bill pay. So bill pay really is the simplest and easiest way for you to do this. You can set it up as recurring or a one-time payment. You have total control. It's very secure, and your bank then sends us the check via snail mail. And so many of these donations here are through bill pay. So if you haven't yet done it, I get around to getting that set up because it looks like we're all going to be emerging out of this crazy nonsense soon, and we're going to be a lot busier in a few weeks. So let's ask Ken then and Jason to take us into our offering song.
1, 2, 3, 4. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
So let's just know, going within one more time, just recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented here in the basket or through your online giving, including through Facebook, if you've decided to give us that way, that all of it is a demonstration of consciousness that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so through the generous heart of the individual, by evidenced by these gifts here today, and through the online giving process, that we know that all of it goes forth to heal, to prosper, to heal, to bless, and to prosper, not only the vision and mission of this center and of this online effort, but also the lives of anyone connected to this center in any way, either physically or through online. That we recognize that this blessing extends, and we consciously extend this blessing to our friends here in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well in some crazy cosmic way, that the living spirit itself, that original substance that is expressing itself in, through, and as all of life. And to the extent that we understand and know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in all ways, great and small. And that's a good thing. And together we acknowledge this joyfully by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right, so just, can we scroll the announcements? We'll start those. So we do have fellowship coming up. If you can't, if this is scrolling too fast, you can find it on Constant Contact. It'll tell you how to get in there, and I'll be scooting in there to get you set up on that. And keep an eye out for ongoing classes because we do have more stuff coming up. There's no reason for you to feel sad, bored, and lonely because we have lots of things to do online and lots of ways to connect. So, and if you're a practitioner, don't forget we have a practitioner meeting on Zoom later today. So, fellowship on Zoom. So let's thank our musicians one more time. Mr. Jason Goldstein on the backup action. Mr. Ken Francis, I almost called you Ken Gordon. Mr. Ken Francis. Mr. Ken Francis, our music director. I want to give a special shout out to Mike Carlin and Evan Lindley, who are, we couldn't do this without them. They're in the support in the back there. And of course, Reverend Nancy Woods, our assistant minister, who's now going to pray us out. Thank you all for joining us, and check us out online through Zoom for fellowship.
So as we step into the awareness that we have been blessed by everything that has come to us, but it comes to us by coming through us. The awareness and the understanding that that infinite intelligence that is in all of us awaits us to recognize it, to recognize and own its presence within us, and that it would come forth to bless, to bring forth that what we seek, that good, that joy, that peace, that love, that beauty, and the power to create life the way we want it to be. So as we step into this awareness and we go forth from this service this morning, we go forth to understand and appreciate that divine presence that has gifted us with this experience. And know that it awaits our recognition and declaration of the truth that we are seeking to experience. And know it is already so. So as with these blessings of awareness, knowing that these blessings come in the form of health, creativity, love, and prosperity. And with a conscience of appreciation and acceptance, allowing it to unfold in our lives with ease and grace, allowing it to give to us by giving through us. And we willingly allow this to be our truth. We willingly accept that it is already so. Our success is done. It is in this moment. So let's rejoice in appreciation and acceptance as we say together, and so it is.
Will you please join us for the peace song at home? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. As God is the power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let